a deadly plague ravaging a planet, mutated creatures,
Open the door. Open the door.
and plenty of jump scares. Today I'm playing 100% of Subnautica Red Plague. Will I survive this new deadly assortment of creatures?
No, I didn't know they did this.
Build a cozy home to survive in, and manage to stop the rapid spread of this virus, or doom the planet in the process? Let's find out, as I crash land on planet 4546b like any normal playthrough of Subnautica. However, once I left the safety of the life pod and looked around, I could see that this wasn't the world that I'd landed on countless times before.
What the fuck is that?
Spotting some sort of platform as well as some bones sticking out of the water in the distance. But I chose to ignore that for now, and dove straight into the water to begin my collecting, with all the normal resources for the start of a playthrough.
Limestone.
Getting a bit too excited to grab a bladderfish in the process.
Damn, I'm gripping that thing.
Where when I first came up for oxygen, I spotted another difference in this world,
What is that?
being this massive floating island. Choosing once again to ignore this, and continue collecting until I was full, where I returned to my life pod and started crafting some upgrades, starting with my oxygen tank, before I had my first visitor.
Huh?
I can see we're in for some fun on this playthrough.
I don't like this game. I don't want to play this game anymore.
So I went back to collecting for my upgrades, crafting all the essentials for the start of Subnautica, repairing my life pod and radio,
Lumos.
where I then got a message from someone at Aurora.
Hey, we can finally get in touch. I'm Angelina Coral, your personal Altera Research Operation Human Resource Manager. I'm receiving this message because you've
Before I was rudely interrupted.
What the fuck is this thing?
But Angelina did manage to send through the blueprints for a biochemical protection module for me to craft, so it was back to collecting for me, where after a night full of swimming around, I finally perked up enough courage to investigate the platform I'd seen at the start, finding out that this was some sort of elevator.
It's going up there. Okay, so this is going to be a lift.
And it also needed a red tablet to activate, one I'd never seen before.
A red tablet?
So I left that for now, and with my newfound courage, I also checked out the bones that were close by, collecting some amalgamated bones from it by hitting it, something I'm sure we'll find a use for very soon. But for now, I continued my cleansing of all the resources in my vicinity, unlocking the sea glide in the process. So I returned to my life pod to start working towards that. But first, I had made the biochemical protection module Angelina had sent me through earlier, and equipped it.
Yeah, I got a new thing.
Adding a new stat which I'm going to call sanity, meaning I now needed to keep track of this as well as health, hunger and thirst, which then prompted a new character called Fred to give me my first mission.
Hey, I'm Fred Elson, the mission co-director of the 4546B Exploration Project.
Being that of finding and scanning DNA tester fragments, which I didn't really listen to, I'm going to be honest, but I did eventually craft the larger O2 tank and fins before running out of copper for the sea glide. And whilst looking around, I found a large lump of a flesh-looking substance in the grassy plateau, finding some blueprints nearby to scan, then suddenly finding the courage to see what the flesh mound was.
Okay, I'll find out what this thing is.
Just to see that it was actually nothing. Really good to see the courage on display during this playthrough so far, where I finally returned home and craft the sea glide, as well as the habitat builder. And with my newfound speed, I headed over to the floating islands to try and get the blueprint for the multi-purpose room, hearing some stranger than normal noises once underneath the island, but making it onto land safely, before having a run-in with a local, I guess.
Nope.
And after their warm welcome to the island, I made it to the Degassi base and scanned the multi-purpose room, only to see something that absolutely terrified me.
What?
Something I could only assume was a local's pet. A very strange island, I must say. But anyways, I picked up the purple tablet inside and then headed to scan the rest of the island, making it to the peak of the island just to see that there were multiple of those things. Great. And then to top it all off, whilst I was leaving the island, the Aurora blew up as well.
Oh, shit.
Seeping radiation into all the surrounding waters. So terrified, I raced back home to the safety of the life pod. But on my way back, I came across a small base that I'd never seen before. And this base was surrounded by mutated fish that were highly aggressive. Also surrounding this base were fragments of a plague neutralizer, only having 2 of the 3 needed to unlock the blueprint, but it did have the rest of the fragments needed for me to unlock the sea moth. There was also a PDA here that had the location of a research base called Dante, as well as some unfortunate habitants. But that waypoint seemed too deep down and dark for me to have any courage to investigate yet, so I opted to return to the safe shallows and begin establishing a base of my own other than the life pod, making a really simple base as I'm a really simple man and I nearly drowned in the process.
No. We good. We good.
So after my near-death experience, I decided to continue working on the base, adding in some storage and moving everything out of the life pod, then adding in an indoor grow bed to start producing the food that I'd found on the island, then venturing out back into the ocean where I spotted a warper infected with the red plague.
I'm so scared. Why is this game so terrifying? What have they done to it? It used to be such a happy experience.
So cowered back home again. Yeah, this is common for me, so get used to it. Adding a radio to the base so that I could continue to communicate with Angelina and Fred once I finally decided to actually do the mission that they tasked me with. Deciding to venture outside again and accidentally drifting into the radiation zone of the Aurora, completely forgetting that the radiation spreads.
Is it spreading? Oh, it does spread. Please. God.
And worried that the mod might speed up the spread of this radiation, I decided to tackle this next, completely forgetting Angelina and Fred's task once again. Damn sure they won't mind, it's not like Altera is an incredibly evil company or anything. So crafting myself a radiation suit and set off towards the Aurora, but on my way there coming across a wreck, and here I actually found the DNA tester fragments, and unlocked the infection sampler. Lucky for Angelina and Fred, otherwise I would have left this for hours. Also finding in a different wreck, the mobile vehicle bay, meaning I could now craft myself a Seamoth when back at home. But for now, I needed to find the fragments for the propulsion cannon so that I could actually enter the Aurora.
I'm so terrified, I don't want to move. Okay, propulsion cannon. You wasn't there before, was you?
Finding the first one quite easily, but struggling to find the second. Then coming across a moving Seamoth and prawn suit, must be that local from the island again. Before looking around and finding the last propulsion cannon fragment, and looking up to find Life Pod 3 right above me, collecting the creature decoy blueprint, and getting jump scared by a randomly spawning Reaper.
Why do you just keep spawning out of nowhere?
So I ran away and made it to the entrance of the Aurora, and getting a, well, warm welcome, I guess, by someone called Cassie.
You're finally here. We've been waiting on you. Why don't you join us? If we're lucky, we can escape and play it together.
There's no way. Cassie, you're alive. After what happened with Research Team 7. How?
I'm alive as I'll ever be. I've never felt better.
Well, he seems in good spirits, so I can't wait to meet him. But I couldn't actually make any progress without the propulsion cannon, so started making my way back home, getting jump scared one more time for good measure, returning and setting up more storage for the base, where I then received a message from the Sunbeam.
Aurora survivors, this is training ship Sunbeam. We've tracked your distress signal, but your ship's left a substantial debris field up in orbit. We can't attempt a landing. We're gonna have to head home. We'll send our data to Altera as soon as we can. Hold on in there. Sunbeam out.
That's a shame, some fireworks would have really cheered me up right now. So I started accumulating materials to make the propulsion cannon, as well as the mobile vehicle bay, deploying it just next to the life pod. And then I was finally able to craft the infection sampler, and used it on a nearby sand shark that had been infected with the red plague, obtaining a red plague sample, and being advised to report it to Altera as soon as possible, which I clearly did, and Angelina was quick to ask me to send a sample for further study.
Wow, this is way more interesting than I ever could have imagined. Please construct a shuttle platform so it can be safely sent to Altera.
Giving me a blueprint for the shuttle platform, and then explored some nearby wrecks and unlocked more blueprints.
Yes! Battery charger! Oh, even better. Bench. Oh, even better. Plant pot. Oh, even better. Plant shelf.
Before returning home and finally crafting myself a Seamoth.
Seamoth.
Taking it for a quick spin to collect the resources needed to craft the shuttle platform, before experiencing my first of many battles with these annoying fucking suckers. These things stick to your vehicle, cause damage, sometimes block your vision, and even control them whilst they're attached. They are also sometimes extremely hard to hit, making it incredibly annoying to get them off, and for some reason, they spawn everywhere. But anyway, I then set up the red plague sample for further research, where Fred came back to me and let me know that Altera aren't only looking for a cure for the red plague, but they're actually trying to harness its power.
That sample you said could very well be the backbone for a new era of technology. I'll let you in on a bit of a secret here. We're not just trying to find a cure for this virus. We're trying to harness its power. And look at the sheer rate of how fast it manipulates matter, how well it harvests and stores energy. We've never seen anything like it before. Thank you for your contributions to this project.
You know, the deadly virus that's making things mutate and go insane? What could go wrong? So Angelina chimed in and gave me my next task, to create 16 mega construction drones at the mobile vehicle bay. But of course, I'm going to ignore them again and head straight back to the Aurora.
No. I'm back.
Now with the propulsion cannon in hand, meaning I could make my way into the cargo bay. Once I remembered the code, that is. But once inside, I could see the cargo bay was looking a bit worse for wear, as the walls and roof had protruding mounds of flesh coming through. But finding the regular did bring my mood back up.
The regular. Such a... Just like ham and cheese.
Honestly, such a good addition by the mod team. But deeper into the Aurora, Fred let me know that I was getting close.
You're so close to one of our objectives. Based on our scans, Cassie's lost data has to be somewhere near the drive core.
So I made my way to the drive room, where I wasn't exactly met with anything pleasant.
What the fuck was that?
Finding messages on the walls and PDAs with warnings.
If you're reading this, I've already left this world. So let this be your warning. Do not proceed down this hallway.
So I went down the hallway and into the drive room where radiation was leaking from.
What the fuck?
Seeing that all the walls were covered in flesh, bleeding, and even looking at me. So I wandered straight in, avoiding the walls as the PDA had told me to do, beginning my repairs, and even getting brave enough to enter the water, where my PDA told me about a necessary blueprint somewhere in the room, so I would need to keep my eye out. And repairs were going great. Not sure what all those warnings were about.
Fucking hell.
Oh, that's what the warnings were about. Mr. Teeth, an amalgamation of body parts from the Aurora crash, all being fueled by the Red Plague. So I would now have to avoid Mr. Teeth whilst finishing the repairs. Except my arch nemesis was back to ruin my life once again, with suckers sitting on top of 3 broken parts of the drive room, and I wasn't able to pry them off with the tools I currently had. But whilst I was aimlessly trying to hit these things off, I did stumble across the blueprint that the PDA had mentioned earlier.
Oh. Plague grappler.
So picked it up and completed my first of 4 goals.
1 of 4 primary mission goals completed. Great work.
But I wasn't able to craft this grappling hook yet. So I returned home, and my god, I was happy to be in the safe shallows again and away from Mr. Teeth. So I sent some amalgamated bones and plague crystals that I had found in the Aurora to Altera for research. When my radio pinged and I received a message from Research Team 7 asking for some supplies.
Hey, this is Red Plague Research Team 7. You have a shortage of biochemical protection suits. Where are all the supplies? Altera seems too obsessed with the plague sample to give a damn about our struggles down here. Hell, one of our crewmates is breaking out in red pustules. Anyone, please deliver supplies to us. I'm attaching coordinates now.
So I ignored them and added in some more storage to my base. I feel like I maybe could be helping some people by going quickly, but they're not going to hold these red plague samples I got for no reason, are they? So instead, I did get some exciting news from Fred, that I could get a new knife using the amalgamated bones I had sent to him, that could cut even the flesh of the plague.
Unfortunately, it's, banned from standard Altera fabrication.
Oh, thanks for nothing, Fred. So to try and forget how useless Fred actually is, I took a trip to the mountain island to get some diamonds and lithium. I took a quick look inside the base on the island, but nothing had really changed, so I went back to collecting until I was full, returning home and depositing my findings, where I then finally crafted myself a laser cutter, completing my set of base game tools for this playthrough. So then I decided to get into my gardening era, planting a gel sack that I'd found on the island, then jumping back in my Seamoth, and visiting some of the beacon markers I'd been receiving on my radio up until this point, before coming across a sucker on a random Seamoth.
Well, that's the thing.
Sucker 1, me nil, I guess. Swimming back to my Seamoth and visiting life pods 13 and 17.
Well, that's not good. Is his head poking through the top?
Before finally getting to Research Team 7, but they were all dead. Now if only someone got there sooner. So I began to explore the base, and found that the members of Research Team 7 had now become mutated divers, and were being controlled by the Red Plague. I then started to check the interior of the base, and found a broken infection tablet, something that looked very similar to the one that is needed on the strange platform underneath the floating island at spawn. So I continued searching, and found the final fragment for the plague neutralizer, and thought that I had cleared the entirety of the base, so returned home, where I went to make the new infection tablet, just to realise I had missed the whole other portion of the base.
Oh, I just looked it up. I've got to go back.
So after wrestling another sucker from my Seamoth,
Oh, for fuck. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I returned back to Research Team 7's base and entered through a window I had missed, where I found and scanned the Administration Fabricator, a fabricator that had higher privileges than normal, allowing me to craft banned items such as the knife that Fred had mentioned before, and with that, it was time to leave this base for good.
It's time to get those fuck out of here and never come back.
Returning home and placing down the administrator fabricator at base, where I then used it to craft the infection tablet and a plague knife.
Oh yeah.
Where it was time to finally activate the platform. So inserted the tablet, which activated the elevator up to the island, where there isn't actually much up here. As we're only in Act 2 of 5 of the Red Plague, I'm guessing they have plans for this in the future, as they do have some familiar looking stuff inside, but for now this is only a floating island and nothing more.
Must have been the wind.
So went for a little dive off the edge and formulated a plan on the way down. And that plan was to use the plague knife to try and take the suckers off the breaches in the drive room. And killing these things would definitely put a smile on my face if I could. So once I was at the drive room again, I swam down and swung at those little pricks.
So right. Yes!
Actually being able to pry them off. So I repeated this with the other two, just to find out that I'd actually missed one. And then had some run-ins with Mr. Teeth again, before finding it and finally fixing the radiation leak from the Aurora. Aurora is fixed. Thank God I'll never see you again, Mr. Teeth, hopefully. So I then explored the rest of the Aurora, grabbing the prawn suit blueprints and the Neptune rocket schematics, and then just wandering around the rest of the Aurora to see if any new additions had been added. Something new, I guess. Jeez. Banana. But that was the Aurora, and I'd made it through the whole... Oh no, wait. I forgot the propulsion cannon and now can't get out of this doorway. Never mind, I really wanted to see it again anyway. And on my way out, I stumbled across a time capsule. Now what treasures am I about to get? 6 bottles of water, thanks. And back home, the radio sparked to life again. But this time, it was a final message from another research team somewhere deeper down.
We're heading towards a structure that our scanners picked up. I have a feeling you'll have answers, and we're so close. What do you mean the suits aren't working? It can't be too late already, keep trying. What the hell is going on? Is one of our crewmates sabotaging us? No, I get it. Even with the suits, the plagues have plenty of time to infest our bodies. What does it want from us? If only I was a few minutes quicker.
Sounds like they're already dead, so no rush again, I think. Then I took a random trip into the mushroom biome and found some Cyclops fragments and pressed further on to a wreck in the bulb zone, which uncovered the stasis rifle. Now I chose not to use this, as it does take away a lot of the danger from the game, and it seems like that's what the Red Plague mod is all about. Then on my way back home, I stumbled onto another wreck, this one housing the battery charger, modification station, and vehicle upgrade console inside. And upon return, after a quick sucker cleanse and jump scare, it was time to add a scanner room to the base, but I needed a quick resource run to do so, and now with the scanner room complete, it was time for another fight with the suckers.
How many of these things spawn?
Before finally making my way down into the mushroom caves for some magnetite, but instead finding some mushrooms that had also been ridden with the Red Plague. Seems like nowhere is safe from this plague. But after scooping up some magnetite and a quick visit to the Gussie base down here, I was out of there and back to home. Oh, for fuck's sake, seriously, these things are the worst addition to this mod. And once I finally got my Seamoth back, I took a trip over to LifePod 19 to look for some moonpool fragments, finding all the parts I needed and unlocking it, as well as the thermal plant, before searching a few more wrecks for some rewards. And on my way back, I parked up my Seamoth, finally ready to make a moonpool and hide this Seamoth away. Oh no wait, they won in round 2.
Well, that's just perfect, isn't it?
And this time they're doing fucking tricks with my Seamoth.
Come back.
But after they were dealt with again, I finally got my moonpool down, just to have my base start breaking due to weak hull strength. So quickly fixed that by adding a bulkhead to the scanner room, and then finally I was able to hide my Seamoth away from these damn suckers, where then it was finally time to put the scanner room to use. So crafted the HUD chip and began to fill my boots with everything I could find, in preparation for making the swarm of robots that Angelina had asked me to make weeks ago. And once I was finally ready, I swam up to the mobile vehicle bay and crafted them, where they got to work straight away, starting to scan some of the wrecks below me, whilst my PDA gave me directions on what actually to do with them.
Please direct these drones to any nearby wreckage for salvaging.
So I then led them round to different wrecks around my base, until they had finally collected enough scrap for what Angelina called Project Step 2.
Great work. Those drones have done all the salvaging we need to continue with the project. Now for Project Step 2.
Which was taking place up on the floating island. Obviously sounds really important, so I'll do that later. Instead, finally choosing to add a ladder up to the second floor of my base, and collecting some more materials, which I then used to craft a rebreather, a battery charger, and a modification station. But it was finally time to see what Project Step 2 was, so made my way back to the platform, and up the elevator where Step 2 began.
Get ready. Powering up the construction drones now.
Ooh. Oh. Kind of ruined that, the Altera looking thing. Oh, shit. What? What the fuck? We've got a dome around the planet?
Alien power return operational. Dual construction finalized. Power siphon functional. Shield activated. Secondary containment systems active. Plane quarantine process successful.
What the fuck is going on?
And after erecting a giant dome around me, Fred let me know that I could leave at any time. How nice.
Hey, if you want to leave the dome for whatever reason, just give us a notice.
Oh, this message wasn't supposed to be for you. I apologize.
What's the problem? If anyone wants to leave the dome, they can, right? I mean, we're not making a death trap here.
Nothing leaves the dome. We don't make exceptions to that rule. I thought we went over this already.
Protocol also account for what happened to those research teams? You can't be serious.
Communication signal terminated.
You know, I'm starting to think that Altera may not be looking out for me here, but I guess I can complain about that later, as once I was back in the water, new creatures began to spawn.
What the fuck are you?
Luckily, they aren't as scary as they look.
They look terrifying.
Fred and Angelina also had another message waiting for me at base.
Hey, we need you to complete what our research teams couldn't. Ideally, they'd be handling many of these tasks, but it seems that the plague, well, we have 4 main objectives for you. I'm uploading them to your PDA now. You should see a checklist there that should outline everything you'll need to do.
So after checking the list of tasks that they had set me, it seemed I'd already completed one of the 4 tasks, where someone then interrupted me to complain about the newly erected dome.
Hello? Hello? Are you there?
This incoming signal frequency does not match any known All-Terra personnel.
Please tell me you're not the one responsible for this. What the hell did you do, bro? Do you know what that means for everyone down here?
But this all seemed far too important to start straight away, so I just kind of swam around for 20 minutes doing nothing, until my PDA caught my attention.
A nearby life form has something to show you. Please obtain more information.
What?
So I decided to follow the big scary thing that was looking at me, where it did seem as though it was leading me towards something. Turns out, they lead you towards Leviathans.
Oh, so you just lead me to mutated Reapers, do you? Great.
The suckers are still worse, but these things are now a close second.
That looks cool though.
So I swam back to my home defeated, but once close to my base, the same message played again, letting me know that a new life form was nearby. So I searched around me for a while before I found it, this strange turtle looking thing, which began to lead me far out away from my base, until it suddenly took a dive down and revealed a large base, another that had been completely overrun with the red plague virus. But I was without my Seamoth, so went to swim back to base to collect it and bring it over. However, I ran into the large tree in the mushroom biome, knowing I could find a very special egg buried underneath.
Yeah, there you are.
So after obtaining the cuttlefish egg and leaving it back at base, I collected my Seamoth and made my way back to the mysterious base, heading inside and finding this place crawling with enemies infected with the red plague. So I had to fight my way through each corridor. Both small and large, human and fish filled these hallways, all of which were hunting me. Even the warpers on the outside were trying to get to me and teleporting me back outside, where eventually their swarming tactics became too much and they managed to kill me. So I made my way back to the base and managed to kill a warper, which dropped a new item called a warper heart. Another of the 6 items that they needed me to send to Altera. And with that new discovery, I started exploring the base more than I had managed to before, finding the upper level, some strange dolls, and a dormant neural matter, another of the items on the checklist. So thinking again that I had completed this area now, I set off to home, but decided to stop by the blood kelp to pick up some deep shrooms and blood oil. However, on my way back, I think I started going a bit crazy, not only in the game but also in real life.
Mr. Worldwide, tonight, I'ma love you tonight. No, say money, no. Ball.
But I did make it back home and began to plant the deep shrooms, also sending the warden heart and dormant neural matter to Altera for study. Then finding out I had to go back to the base of research team 4, so made my way back and found the area that I hadn't previously explored, finding a demonic looking altar in the middle of the room.
Wow, mysterious altar. This is like a demon altar from Terraria.
Scanning it and giving me the blueprints to make a plague altar for myself, and this discovery fascinated Angelina and Fred as well.
That's quite a discovery made down there. An altar dedicated to worshiping the plague. It's so fascinating.
This shouldn't exist. I don't understand why or how.
Well, I don't quite understand it either, but I think it would be fun to mess around with it, wouldn't it?
But the best part of that facility was finding the anti-possession module, a module to my vehicles which meant those suckers couldn't stick to them anymore. So with newfound happiness that they weren't going to be an issue anymore, I returned home and began to work on sending the 2 final items to Aurora that Angelina and Fred had requested. The final 2 items needed were a neutralized flesh ingot and mysterious remains, both of which I had no clue how to get, deciding that something must be locked behind the plague neutralizer, the blueprint I got weeks ago and probably should have built a bit earlier, but oh well. Placing it down and trying to figure out how it worked, eventually finding that putting plague samples and plague crystals into the machine created neutralized flesh ingots, and I then used them to create the plague altar, the crafting station for some of the new red plague items that I could make. And then suddenly Derman, the man who complained about the dome, contacted me again and somehow knew that I was beginning to harness the plague and offered some help.
Is there, bro? I've been working on something. If you're going to be harnessing the plague, as stupid of an idea that I found that to be, I have invented a device that helps you find the useful piece out of any mysterious meat chunks you might have laying around. I'm serious. I hope this helps.
But again, that looked important, so I ignored it, and sent the neutralized flesh ingots to Aurora, meaning I now just needed to find mysterious remains and send them to Aurora to complete the task. Now, I was getting things done a bit too quick for my liking, so I switched my focus into finally making myself a prawn suit, entering it for the first time and taking it to the underwater floating islands, to try and find some grappling arm and drill arm fragments, all of which I found on a single wreck.
Grapple hook acquired. There it is.
So raced home and began crafting, where Fred chimed in with some good news for Aurora.
Hey, Elson here. You know, I hear a call, and it is the call of Asteroid. That's right. Results finally came in. Headquarters has already sold a working prototype of the Red Plague to one of the biggest medcorps in the Federation. Can you believe that?
Seems great, Fred. Definitely nothing wrong with selling a plague that you're currently trying to contain on an alien planet, so I decided to follow in the footsteps of their stupidness and craft the new blueprint I received for sending the neutralized flesh ingots to Aurora, the Bone Regurgitator. Yeah, such a lovely name. But once crafted, I took it outside to test it.
Here's a gun.
Yes, a gun that used both health and sanity to fire. And I wasn't really a fan of having low sanity in this mod, due to all the illusions and noises that played around the world, so I left this in a box and never touched it again. A great use of resources if I do say so myself. So I went back to crafting the arms for the prawn suit, realising that I hadn't even built the vehicle upgrade console yet. So gathered the materials and crafted it, where I could finally make the prawn suit grappling arm, but needed more diamonds to make the drill arm, so decided it was finally time to visit research base Dante. You know, the waypoint I found in the first hour of playing the game. Yeah, I'm sure they'll all be fine. They were all dead as well. Luckily, the only thing inside was an ambient neuroprephin dampener, a device to mitigate the symptoms of insanity to all those nearby. Something I never built. I'm not sure as to why, considering I really did not like being insane in this game, but after picking up some diamonds on my travel out here, I returned home and built the prawn suit drill arm. And with my prawn suit as upgraded as I was willing to make it for now, it was time to set off to research base Chain, over in the Sea Treader's Path, a new location that I discovered at research base Dante. Heading inside, finding that this was one of the worst affected bases I had seen yet, but at least the crew looked like they enjoyed their final moments. Listen, it's 2026 and we don't kink shame, so after picking up the only blueprint in the building, I got out of there and headed to the Lost River, in search of Research Team 2, who had lost contact with Aurora down here, picking up some sulfur, nickel and uranium on the way in, whilst also trying to avoid the Ghost Leviathan down here, where eventually I headed into the area housing the containment facility, but spotted a destroyed Cyclops around the back, meaning I had found Research Team 2, a lot quicker than I would have liked, but went over to investigate anyways, finding no signs of life here, but instead finding that Research Team 2 had been working on developing a new type of armor, harnessing the plague and using it to resist it, so I scanned all the bodies to unlock the plague arm, meaning 3 of my 4 missions were now complete.
3 of 4 primary mission goals completed.
So I quickly headed inside the facility to check it out, but again there was nothing new inside, so quickly made my way out, and headed home, where I crafted a depth module and jet boost upgrade for the prawn suit, where I thought it was finally time to try and complete my last task, to send the mysterious remains to Aurora. Just one problem, I'd been playing for 3 days at this point and hadn't found a single one yet, so I swam around aimlessly for a bit, hoping I could just randomly find it, before remembering the mechanical refinery that Derman had gifted me earlier, so placed it down hoping to have found the last piece of the puzzle.
Please, for the love of God, be in here.
Only to be extremely disappointed.
Oh.
So quickly gave up and headed back down to the Lost River, but this time heading down to the lava zone to pick up some kyanite. Then once full of it, I headed to the lava castle, managing to sneak past the sea dragons.
Oh.
and into the base buried inside. Now most people who have played Subnautica know that you need the blue tablet inside this base to travel further down. I however completely forgot, so just activated the teleporter here and headed home, for absolutely no reason. So then I headed back to the lava zone the long way, this time seeing a mutated ghost leviathan.
Oh, it's mutated. This thing looks sick now. Terrifying, but sick.
Quickly moving past that and heading deeper, just to realise I hadn't made the Mark II depth module yet, which is what I originally returned home to make. So headed back up, the long way again, crafted the Mark II upgrade, headed back down the long way again,
warp ahead
towards the primary containment facility, just to realise I didn't have the blue tablet that I was meant to pick up earlier, so headed back the long way again to try and achieve this. That's 2 hours I'll never get back. But once home, I grabbed a few purple tablets and finally remembered that there's a teleporter to help speed this up, where I quickly picked up the blue tablet and headed towards the primary containment facility, activating all the portals and beginning to collect the seeds needed for the hatching enzymes. Also stopping back at home to craft another blue tablet to enter the final part of the facility, where I finally met the Emperor.
Hello.
Receiving the blueprints for the hatching enzymes, heading home to craft them and giving them to the egg to hatch, meaning enzyme 42 was now free on this planet.
Danger. Severe chemical burns detected. This substance is incompatible with your biology and potentially fatal to any life forms afflicted by the plague.
Oh.
Oh, of course. Safe to say I didn't report this one to Aurora, as I did still need that raise that they promised. And to try and distract them from finding out what I had done, I finally caved and looked up where to find mysterious remains, being found inside these mushrooms that were infected with the red plague.
Oh, that was so fucking easy to find.
They were so close this entire time, and I couldn't think to look inside once. I love myself. Sending it off to Aurora and finally completing my list of tasks. So Angelina and Fred got in contact to congratulate me and give me another task.
Congratulations. That's everything. Now for what we've all been waiting for. Fred has everything planned out, so I'll let him tell you more about it.
We certainly should. I can't really promise this is a good idea. Yeah, so we located an entrance to the cave. It's blocked by a massive wall of flesh, so you'll need to get it open with that grappling hook of yours. We'll update you as soon as you get there.
No rest for the wicked, I guess. So I started working on making the grappling hook needed for the next task, but getting sidetracked once again.
Gilbert. Oh, I have to make Gilbert. Come on. Gilbert. Look at him.
But after playing with Gilbert, I finally locked in and realising it was time to make the plague armour and grappling hook. Immediately getting disheartened by finding out that the mechanical refinery is actually an RNG minigame, deciding to spit out dormant neural matter almost never. Luckily getting one in order to craft the plague armour, then crafting the plague grappler soon after, and testing it out before heading to the cave entrance. So with tests complete, it was time to stock up on healing items and head towards the cave entrance.
Whoa.
Exiting my prawn suit nearby and prying the entrance open.
Whoa. Oh shit.
Now all that was left was for me to enter.
Oh, it's like a mouth.
Slowly but surely making my way down into this hellhole, and this place was rife with the red plague, having every wall covered by that fleshy material I saw in the Aurora, and nothing here was friendly.
Whoa.
With even Derman trying to warn me not to be in there, before I spotted something massive in the distance.
What the fuck?
And not long after it spotted me too.
No, 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 no.
So I ducked away as quick as I could, before finding a small opening in the wall to hide in, but this was closed. Luckily for me though, the beast had lost interest for now, so after some more exploring,
Okay.
I entered what seemed to be another alien base, before a new voice started speaking with me.
I am not afraid of what comes next. I have no reason to be, not with the life I have lived. I watch stars burn and fizzle out, dynasties on far-off planets rise, and the gods of men fall. And now it comes for me. My greatest miracle, my panacea, my ascension. Perhaps it seeks to destroy me, to consume me into its hive minds and invest of me. That would be a waste.
And after hitting me with some stone cold voice acting, I had no way to proceed, so I doubled back on myself before the voice hit me again.
Hello, Diver. Please, be not afraid. I wish you no harm. I am speaking to you directly through a fragment of myself that I have uploaded to your personal datapad. Your radio is not compromised. I understand you must have many questions. They will be answered in time. You must find my physical form with haste. Time is of the essence.
Leading me back to the small opening I'd found earlier.
Open the door. Open the door. Open the door.
Where inside housed the gold tablet that I needed. So I quickly brought it back to the facility and finally met the voice that had been speaking with me. Don't hurt me.
Kevin the Cube.
It has been long since I had the pleasure of speaking to another living soul. I feared that I would be forced to bide my time until my sanctuary powered down. My species designation is B3NT. However, you may find it more suitable to call me Bennett. I understand your kind does not refer to themselves by designations as mine once did. Though we have only just met, and you are likely processing a great deal of information, I require your help. And inevitably, you will require mine. There is no other who possesses as much knowledge of the organism PNCA as I. After all, it was I who created it, and I who was tasked with destroying it. It is my greatest regret that I failed that day. Now, though, you can help me pick up where I left off, and together we can eradicate this red plague, as you have named it. Require a sample of a crystal formation of the plague for me to research, and then we shall move forward with haste. Simply place it in the receptacle when you are ready.
So I set out to get Bennett some plague crystals, returning quickly and giving it to him.
Diver, I thank you. You have survived longer than any who have previously come in contact with the Red Plague. I would make a request of you. The heart of this sickness, it lies in the jewels fallen from your crashed ship. I plead with you, do what I could not. End this and destroy the plagued heart. Alterra will try to stop you. They will lie to you, as they have from the very start. Do not listen. This device should help you locate it.
Adding PNCA tracking device blueprints to data blueprint acquired.
So it seemed I would soon be faced with a choice between Aurora and Bennett, but for now I was tasked with finding the plague heart, so I left the cave effortlessly.
No! Let go! I didn't know they did this.
Well, outside, it didn't seem like Bennett wanted me talking to Aurora at all.
Oh, what happened out there? I mean, that we ever expect you to speak, but if you found anything of importance, do send.
Connection forcefully disconnected.
So when I returned home, I started making the PNCA tracking device that Bennett had given me. But first, it was time for a small expansion to the base. Not sure why I didn't just build this bigger room ages ago, but that would have been too easy. So back to crafting. Except the mysterious remains weren't playing ball, and refused to give me a dormant neural matter. So I went to collect more mysterious remains, crafted an aquarium to grow some eggs, and placed it in the new expansion, and kept playing this stupid RNG minigame until I got one.
Fuck you.
And could finally craft the tracking device. And the minigame took so long to give me a dormant neural matter, the cuttlefish had hatched when I finished.
He's alive.
But with him released and finally free, it was time to track down the plague heart, which led me in a certain direction towards the mushroom biome, where after 16 hours of playing, I finally found all the remaining blueprints for the Cyclops.
There it is. Oh, we finally got the Cyclops.
Safe to say I won't be using it at this point, but back on track,
Mr. Blobby.
I had finally found the plague heart, buried deep in a crater, surrounded by bits of the Aurora, where both Bennett and Derman were both trying to contact me.
You have taken my warning about Alterra to heart, I see. Thank you. I have had millennia to consider how to destroy the plague heart. And I have come to a conclusion, one you may like. We target the heart with several high-yield explosives, enough to obliterate any possible particles that...
There we go. I've been trying to reach you, man. What kind of encryption update did you get? Did I interrupt something? No, absolutely not. Bro, you're gonna destroy your evil BDE. Here, I have blueprints for explosives. Just drop your BD into one and then Terra can get you a replacement.
Hush. You are merely a husk, a puppet for the sickness that ravages your body. Yes. Do not heed his words, Diver. They are of no significance. I am uploading instructions to your device. It is likely that now both Altera and the plague itself are aware of our actions. Do not hesitate. Time is of the essence.
So here I was finally faced with the choice. Altera, my employer, and the ones promising me a raise for good work, and Bennett, the big alien robot I just met and definitely doesn't sound evil in the slightest. So I chose Bennett.
You know what? Fuck Aurora. They keep leaving me on planets.
As the raise that Altera keep promising me doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. So quickly returned home to gather the materials to craft the satellite communication device that me and Bennett would use to blow up the plague heart.
Oh, we are done.
Returning back to the heart in record time and placing it down, starting the beginning of the end.
Initializing communication protocol. Calibrating sensors. Calculating strike trajectory. Success. Destruction is imminent.
Angelina, I'm picking up an ion energy spike from the upper atmosphere. Angelina! It's getting larger. It's mixing up the system. Where is this coming from? Oh shit.
Fucking hell, Reaper.
Under my rule, I can grant you the freedom that Altera has stolen away in their pursuit of power.
Oh, it's Alan.
It is done. You have done a great deed today, Diver. And I am sorry.
What?
You may believe I have betrayed you. You may believe I have been driven to destroy this world. Know that my intentions are as pure as they have been from the very beginning. For as long as I recall, I have been forced to wait. Nothing but the memories of those I once knew to keep me company. I know you understand the feeling. I watch stars burn and fizzle out. Dynasties on far-off planets rise, and entire species fall. Mine will not be one of those.
So yeah, I may have sided with something that wants to wipe humanity off the face of the universe, but Altera doesn't know it was me at least.
Well, Dome is our last line of defense against the plague. Maybe safe for now, but if it ever escapes this planet, who knows what'll happen.
It looks like we'll be shifting our priorities to full-scale containment and planetary defense. To figure out how to handle this, I'll let you know. See you in Act 3.
So I returned home to try and forge an escape plan, where reaching the safe shallows once again, the planet began to shake.
Oh, fuck. Oh no, what have I done?
Quickly crafting the Neptune rocket, only to find out that the dome was impenetrable.
Launch rocket while the dome is still active.
No.
Meaning that I was stuck, enclosed with that massive monster that I had helped to unleash, and trapped on the planet that I had sadly doomed.
What have I done?
Completing 100% of Subnautica Red Plague so far.